Henry Cavill has officially announced that James Gunn and Peter Safran have fired him. They've kicked him out, and apparently that Black Adam post-credit scene meant nothing. As much as I love making videos for you guys here on the YouTube channel, today's a video I did not want to make, nor did I ever want to make, but Henry Cavill has seemingly confirmed that he will not be returning as Superman. He put out this post on Instagram saying, "I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman after being told by the studio to announce my return back in October prior to their hire. This news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. For those who have been on my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists, and the examples he sets for us are still there. My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards." And of course, that came from Henry Cavill. And for the first time in years, it is now over. Henry Cavill's turn on Superman has ended. Now, the good thing this time is now we do have confirmation. Last time it was Cavill was just silent. We're waiting to see his return, but obviously that never happened. Now, I know I'm about to say something that's going to be controversial. But before I get into my controversial opinion, I want to clarify Henry Cavill is my favorite Superman. I even have this Man of Steel shirt I'm wearing, which is kind of dirty because I was actually using it to work outside. So I apologize. Not for any disrespect. It's just, sorry about that. But my Batman vs. Superman poster is the only laminated poster I have in the background. Zack Snyder's Justice League poster is back there. To me, the version of Henry Cavill's Superman to me was the best version there was of the character. Superman to me has been one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. I always looked up to the character of Superman, and one of those reasons was when I was 11 years old, I went to the theater and I watched Man of Steel back in 2013, and it blew me away. It was a movie that changed my life as a kid. And to me, I've always looked up at Superman as the perfect human, as somebody who everyone should strive to be. I loved him in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I loved him in Batman vs. Superman. And I'll always appreciate what Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill have been able to do with the character. And I think they honor the legacy of the Man of Steel perfectly. I loved him no matter what. And when we saw him in Black Adam, I was cheering. I was happy. I was like, I never thought in my life that we would get Cavill back as Superman. And we were able to get him back for this movie. But with that being said, by the way, first of all, let me admire one thing. Henry Cavill's professionalism is great, because if I was Henry Cavill, I'd probably be like, fuck James Gunn, fuck Peter Safran. I hope they fail, this and this and that. And that's probably how I would react. But Henry Cavill is a respectful man. He's a respectful, good gentleman. And what he's able to do, being able to talk like this, to me is a big W on his part. And so much respect to Henry Cavill, and I'll wish him the best of luck for the future of his career. With that being said, I'm 1000% on this decision. Now, I know you guys are going to be like, wait, Isaac, you've been saying for years that you love Henry Cavill Superman. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'll say the same thing I said about the Patty Jenkins case. I'll say the same thing I said about the Jason Momoa case. I'll say the same thing I've been saying for a long time. I'm going to trust the process. I have my faith in James Gunn and Peter Safran on building out a new DC universe. I'm going to let them do what they need to do in order to build their preferred DC universe. And hey, look, if it fails, maybe by 2025, I'll regret my choice. But hey, at the end of the day, it is my choice at the end of the day. And I'm going to continue to trust James Gunn, because to me, he's already gained my trust with the Suicide Squad. To see what he was able to do with these C-list characters, or D-list, I'll say they're D-list characters. The fact he brought us a phenomenal character in Polka Dot Man, the way he was able to portray that character like better than ever before, to me just shows me that James Gunn is the perfect man for the job. He was hired for a reason under David Zaslav, who, by the way, Snyder fans, for months we were praising that David Zaslav was going to be the savior of DC. And if he thinks this was the best choice, then why don't we listen to him? Let's see why he brought in James Gunn. And I'm going to say this now. Every day, more and more, I keep supporting this idea of a reboot. To me, a reboot just seems like the better option every day. Because on one hand, you risk having to use these characters of Zack Snyder, and you have to do your own thing with them. But on the other hand, you could just reboot and no one will get mad about those characters. Because let's be honest, to my Snyder fans out there, would you want James Gunn to direct the movie starring Ben Affleck's Batman? No, of course not. So I would much rather him do this. Now, this doesn't mean it's the end. Remember, for years, everyone said Henry Cavill's gone. He's no longer Superman. Henry Cavill never said anything himself. He just said the cape's still in the closet. But, by the way, I apologize. My hair is messy. But eventually he came back for Black Adam. No one expected him to. And, that was the kind of the thing. And the most unfortunate thing about this thing is that literally months ago, it was announced Man of Steel 2 was in the works. Henry Cavill was going to be coming back for future projects. He made this iconic Instagram post saying that, hey guys, I'm back and you can see my return in Black Adam and you should expect more in the future. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Now, our last hope of seeing his final outing could possibly be in The Flash, depending on if they delete the scene or not, because apparently he did film something for The Flash, so hey, maybe we'll get it by a surprise, but I doubt we will. But no, as unfortunate as it is, James Gunn was hired for a reason. I'm going to see what that reason is, and to me, the choices he makes are going to be difficult ones. No matter who it is, you're going to upset somebody. Whether it is to restore the Snyderverse, you're going to get some people upset. Whether it is to erase the Snyderverse, you're going to get other people upset. To me, I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to see what he can do with these characters, and I'm going to see what he's able to accomplish with the DC universe. Because whether we want to deny it or not, DC has been in such a fragile position for over a decade now. And that's all because of the old shitty Warner Bros. Leadership. Because they were too scared. They were too pussy to make the difficult choices. They wanted to go with the safe route. And you know what ended up happening? You ended up getting Joss Whedon to make that crappy version of Justice League. You ended up getting years of not knowing what the heck is happening. The fact that we had a DC universe where we didn't even know what was going on with Batman and Superman just shows you how embarrassing that was. How do you have a DC universe where you don't even know how your two main characters are doing in this universe? We barely heard of Superman. We barely heard of Batman. We would just get quick references of them in Shazam and Birds of Prey and all these other movies. But now the new DC leadership has already turned it around and said, hey, we need a clear plan. We need a clear leader. We need some structure. And so they brought in James Gunn. And Snyder fans, I don't get why you went all this major praise on Zaslav. And now when he makes a choice you don't agree with, now it's just like, oh, let's cry about it. And I get it. It's sad. It's unfortunate. But as DC fans, we need to lift ourselves up and see what James Gunn can do. And I'm not saying go watch these movies and support them. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying we can't cut somebody out if we haven't seen what they're capable of doing. And you have to remember, James Gunn's not going to be directing every movie. Remember that. I guarantee you his style is not going to be in the Batman movie, or his style is not going to be in a Green Lantern movie. It's not going to be his style in everything. But it does seem like more and more every day a reboot is more likely going to happen. Of course, Patty Jenkins yesterday admitting that, hey, she's just not going to be a part of Wonder Woman 3. Now Henry Cavill's not going to be in it. It seems like Jason Momoa will be playing Lobo instead of Aquaman now. And so this is the end of an era. It's the unfortunate thing, but to me, you have to be able to make the difficult choices. And to me, I don't think James Gunn wants to play second fiddle to characters that were already established. I mean, I guarantee you, if he made a bad let's say he made Justice League 2 with the cast that we have right there. Let's say he makes a movie on that. People are already going to be pissed because they're going to go in there saying, hey, these are not your characters. These are Zack Snyder's characters. But if he's able to do a Justice League movie where he has a different cast, I feel like I see people who got mad with how the Suicide Squad changed Captain Boomerang and Harley, which they're not really changed, but they were just taken over by James Gunn. Or when you saw, I don't know, Superman and Black Adam, a lot of people were more angry at the potential of changing these already established versions of the characters. And I feel like I'd rather James Gunn do his own thing with new actors than to just use something that is already been somebody else's, Like, in an ideal world, you would rather have a new car with 0 miles driven on it than a old rusty-ass car that already has 300,000 miles on it, But it's a difficult choice, and I love Henry Cavill. And if James Gunn was to call me on the phone and say, "Hey, which Superman would you want? You know, should we recast or should we keep Cavill?" I would tell him, "Hey, I want Cavill in." But at the end of the day, there's a reason why I don't have the job. There's a reason why you don't have the job. At the end of the day, Peter Safran and James Gunn were given the job. If it was such an easy choice, then they would have gone the Cavill route. But the thing is, it's not an easy choice. Because again, they're given this job as leaders of DC to make every decision they believe is best for the company, for the studio, for the franchise. And to me, I'm not happy with it. You know, at the end of the day, I got to go look at it as an objective thing to see, hey, at the end of the day, in the long run, this might be far better. This might be far better for what James Gunn has in store. And, you know, at the end of the day, to me, winning will cure anything. If it's a bad universe, then boom, then I can tell you guys I was wrong. But I won't know until we see what he has in store. What is his slate? What is this? What is that? But I see a lot of people want to rewrite history, act as if the Snyder movies were this major success, which, yeah, they're the most profitable films that DC has had besides Aquaman. But the fan reception was not in a good way. And that's the thing DC is going to have to struggle with having to restore all the fans to bring the DC fan base. And the unfortunate thing is I don't think the DC fan base will ever be united. I don't think it ever will be. I think you'll always have people supporting Zack and then the other people being like they didn't want Zack, you know. And at the end of the day, James Gunn can't be listening to one side or the other. At the end of the day, he has to make the best choice for what's best for DC. And if he believes this is a move to go, then I'll be there day one. At the end of the day, I'm going to be following the James Gunn train. And I know that's the unpopular opinion with my fellow Snyder fans, but hey, at the end of the day, there's a reason why I don't have the job. There's a reason why you don't have the job. At the end of the day, David Zaslav saw this guy and was like, hey, you know what? I think this guy can do the job the best. And yeah, I know it's unpopular, but my job here is not to tell you the popular opinion. My job is to tell you my perspective at the end of the day. And there's never been this full major reboot the way that DC is going on about it. Like, I'm trying to remember all reboots we've had in history. I cannot remember one that's been as big as rebooting an entire DC universe, you know? And so James Gunn and Peter Safran are already tackling this thing. No matter what will make somebody unhappy, and they're tackling it. And to me, I cannot wait to see what they do. At the end of the day, I cannot wait to see. To me, I'll see this as a long-term W, even though I love Henry Cavill Superman, but we'll just have to wait and see and find out. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.